So, welcome everyone to Joy Without Justification. I'm your host, Denny, and today we're going to explore life, philosophy, and personal growth with non-duality and what it means and how it connects us. And with me is
Dan. So thank you for joining us. Together we want to dive into some of these big ideas and share some of our personal stories and life experiences to uncover ways that we can live, with more peace and connection.
So, non-duality is a concept that can feel abstract, but holds the potential to transform.
Yes.
So, how we see ourselves and the world around us?
Yes. So, yeah, it's a perception. So, we'll talk about what non-duality means, how it shows up in life, and why it's such a powerful lens to help you find joy.
Okay. But first, before we get into that, because this is such a lengthy subject from the way you're making it sound to me, so why don't you lead us into a little meditation here for a few minutes, Dan?
Okay. So wherever you are, if it's safe, go ahead and close your eyes or soften your gaze and take a deep breath in. Hold it for a minute and breathe out slowly with your mouth. So feel the ground beneath you. Notice its support, or if you're sitting in the car, the chair that's holding you up. Imagine that beneath the floor, beneath the surface of the earth, there's a living, breathing planet. As you breathe, reflect on this. Your body is made of the same molecules as the earth, the stars, and the air. You are not separate from it. It's you. You are it. Now imagine the cycle of life. Just as the trees grow from the soil, so do we. One day we will return to nourish that same soil, giving back to the earth that gave us life. And that way we're never separate. We are always connected. I'll take one more deep breath in and slowly let it out. And when you're ready, just gently come back to the present awareness.
And that's true what you were saying about returning to the soil and everything. Again, I know we're not a religious channel, but when you're going to church and you're getting ashes on Ash Wednesday, that's what they say to you. Remember, you are dust, and unto dust you will return.
Yes. Yep.
So, yeah, that is pretty much the concept of everything.
Right.
It's just the way it's going to be with life.
Right.
And so let's get into this subject that we're going to discuss. So, non-duality. It's a term that gets thrown around a lot, I guess, in spiritual circles.
Mm-hmm.
But for someone who's never heard of it, like me,
right?
How would you explain it?
So, yeah, that's true. It does get thrown around a lot in those circles, or we are one with the earth. Those kinds of people that wear the beads and all that. But no, non-duality at its core is the understanding that there isn't really kind of a separation. That's a perception between me and you, or us and nature. That isn't real. It's an illusion. Beneath the surface, everything is interconnected. There's a reliance on each other. We rely on plants for food. The earth will rely on our body to nourish it. So it's that interconnectedness. It's one seamless reality in that sense.
Oh, okay. Well, that sounds pretty profound and a little bit abstract, but
it is.
How does that idea play out in my everyday life?
Well, think about it like this. So, if we see ourselves as we do see ourselves separate from nature, so we kind of walk through the forest and we say, "Here's me, there's the tree." So it's apart from us. But those trees are producing the oxygen we breathe, and we exhale the carbon dioxide they need. So it's in a constant exchange between us. I like to think of non-duality as like fingers on a hand. It's a branch. We're all branch of the same awareness.
So in other words, it's like realizing we're in a constant conversation with the world, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. And that awareness is key. So when you start to see those connections, we begin to let go of that illusion of separation. So we realize now that we're part of a greater whole.
Okay, so then let's talk a little more about awareness, because I think where a lot of people can start to experience non-duality directly, how do you practice awareness in your everyday life?
So one simple way is being present with ordinary moments. So, for instance, when I drink water, I pause to think about where it came from. Rain, the rivers, the earth filtering it. So all of these processes that took place becomes part of me. And one day I'll return to the earth to nourish something else.
All right. So like I when I'm sitting outside and I just sit and listen quietly and feel the wind and remind myself that that air has traveled across oceans, deserts,
exactly.
Through the redwood forest of California, before it came here and hit my little body in Ohio.
I mean, think how powerful that is that wind that just blew through Africa could be blowing on us at some point in the future. I mean,
like you even touched on in one of our other podcasts about sticking your feet in the water and you're not touching that same
water twice
as
the current moves it around. Yeah, exactly.
So is that any part of what this non-duality?
Yes, it's realizing that there's really not a separation. We make this separation. Like I got my thumb and my index finger. They're separate fingers, but they're connected by my hand. So we're connected through earth to everything around us. And that's a powerful and profound moment.
Yeah. So bringing us back to a sense of connection, how is that in simple terms?
Well, here's the thing. When we embrace non-duality, it doesn't mean that we stop feeling emotions like fear or sadness. It means we start seeing them as part of the flow of life, not as something to resist or that we need to control.
All right. Because I found myself, when I stopped fighting with difficult emotions, like on days when I'm having like a negative thought or feeling going on, that's kind of hard. And instead I start allowing to feel them pass away. I start thinking of positive things, or I spend a moment like with the dog or the cat and gently bring myself back to that positive life. Or you have pointed out a few times when we've been out, you were a cloud watcher when you were a kid.
Yeah.
You still are. You still point out at times things like, oh, there goes a rabbit, oh, that's a dragon or something. And
the sky's a great metaphor for awareness, because no matter how many storms or clouds pass through life, and think of that, there's a saying, when the storm passes, the sky's still there. The sky never changes.
No.
The storms coming through, those are your emotions, whether it's goodness or sadness. It's temporary. It goes away. So kind of thinking of it that way, that's a good part of awareness. That's a beautiful metaphor.
And that's a real big game changer. A lot of people need to start coming to terms with is, realizing that the world is changing around us, but it's still the same world.
Yeah, exactly.
So, for our listeners who might be hearing this and thinking, that sounds nice, but how do I actually live it? What advice do you have on that?
Well, start small. Pick one ordinary moment in your day, maybe when you're drinking coffee or brushing your teeth, and really focus on it. Notice all those textures, the smells, the sensations, and remind yourself that everything you are experiencing is part of the larger whole. And I will tell you that non-duality is something you you practice those mindful moments and you will feel it. It's not something that's easily explained so much.
Well, that's true, because one of the things I like to practice a lot of is being grateful and the gratitude of things. And it helps me support myself throughout the day, and it grounds me, whether it's cooking a meal or heck, just having my cup of coffee in the morning just grounds me. But, yeah, so it's hard to feel separate when you realize how you're connected.
Right, absolutely. Gratitude and awareness go hand in hand. They're both bring us back to the present moment.
All right. So I want to feel like we've scratched the surface of non-duality, but hope we've given our listeners a sense of how powerful and transformative this perspective can be.
Yeah, it's been a great conversation. Again, it's something that it's hard to do in 15 minutes, so this is just kind of a more of an intro. But again, we want to thank our listeners, and I'd encourage you to take just one moment this week to reflect on your connection to the earth, to others, and to yourself.
And so before we close, we want to leave you with this thought. You are not separate. You are part of something infinite and timeless. And in that truth, there is peace.
So thank you for joining us on Joy Without Justification today. If this episode, kind of spoke to you, please subscribe and share it with someone who might benefit. Tune into our next show. And, again, we want to just thank you so much for listening. And if we would encourage you to send us an email at joywithoutjustification@gmail.com to express, any words of encouragement, critiques, or if you have anything you want us to discuss on the air that brings you joy, please reach out to us.
And the next episode we'll be discussing, I think, is something we both practice daily on our YouTube channel. We're going to be talking about affirmations.
Yes.
So, with that, everyone, until next time, please take care of yourselves. And remember, joy is your brightest moment, your birthright.
Yes.
No
I like that, your birthright. I like that
at all.
Joy is your birthright.
That's right. And as always, peace out.